Welcome to MediByte. Have you ever felt like you're at war with yourself? One part of you wants to be productive and get things done, but another part just wants to completely shut down. If that inner tug of war sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. So let's get into why this happens and what it actually means to find some peace inside. This feeling of being fractured, of not really being in charge of your own ship, it's often a direct result of trauma. Dr. Bessel Kolk puts it perfectly here. See, traumatic experiences don't just fade away. They leave these lasting imprints on our minds, our emotions, and even deep within our bodies. But here's the hopeful part. There is a powerful path to healing. And a lot of this is outlined in his book, The Body Keeps the Score. It's all about bringing those pieces of yourself back together, not by forcing them or fighting them, but by learning how to become the leader of your own inner world. So, how does this division even happen in the first place? Well, after a traumatic event, our internal sense of self can kind of shatter. And that's not just a poetic metaphor, it's a very real protective mechanism. The result is that different parts of us get separated, and in a way, they start going to war with one another. This really captures the ongoing impact, doesn't it? Your whole system stays on high alert, basically organizing your entire life around a threat that's actually in the past. This creates a constant internal battle. And so much of your energy gets poured into just trying to manage this inner chaos instead of, actually engaging with your life. To really get a handle on this internal conflict, there's a framework called Internal Family Systems, or IFS, that's incredibly helpful. It invites us to think of our mind as an internal family made up of all these different parts. Now, it's really important to know, these are not multiple personalities. They're simply different aspects of who we are that take on specific jobs to help us survive. Okay, so first up, you've got the managers. Think of them as these hyper-vigilant planners. They're the protective parts that work overtime to control your life, to keep you safe, to keep you functional, and to make absolutely sure you never, ever feel that kind of pain again. This is where things like perfectionism or workaholism can come from. But what happens when a painful memory slips past the managers? Well, that's when the firefighters jump into action. These guys are your emergency responders. Their only job is to put out the emotional fire, and they need to do it fast. They'll do this by numbing the pain through impulsive behaviors, maybe rage or addictions or binging. Their whole philosophy is basically, anything is better than feeling that. So what are the managers and firefighters trying so hard to protect? They're protecting the exiles. These are the young, vulnerable parts of you that hold the direct weight of the trauma. All the pain, the fear, the shame. They're locked away for the safety of the whole system because the emotions they carry just feel way too overwhelming to face. So if your inner world feels like this chaotic battlefield of managers, firefighters, and exiles, what's the solution? Well, the key, and this is a huge shift, isn't to fight or try to get rid of these parts. The goal is actually to connect with the calm, wise, compassionate leader that already exists inside of you, your core self. And the most amazing thing is that this self doesn't need to be created or built. According to this framework, it's an undamaged core that is always present. It is naturally confident, curious, calm, and compassionate. It's been there the whole time, just kind of hidden beneath all the noise of your protective parts. Healing, then, really starts by changing your relationship with your parts. It's about shifting from being blended with them, where you're completely taken over by their feelings, to being led by yourself and listening to them with real compassion. This creates a completely new way of talking to yourself. This slide shows that change perfectly. So when you're blended with a part, a thought might be, I want to kill myself. But when you're led by yourself, you can observe that thought and reframe it as, a part of me wishes I were dead. Can you feel the difference there? That tiny shift in language creates just enough space between you and the part, and that space allows for mindful observation instead of a complete emotional takeover. It's huge. This process of unblending lets you approach your inner world not with fear or judgment, but with genuine curiosity. You can then start to build a real, trusting relationship between your core self and all these parts that have been working so hard for so long to protect you. You actually get to learn their stories and understand their fears. So, at the end of the day, the goal of all this work is to restore your sense of agency. It's about getting back into the driver's seat of your own life with all your parts as valued passengers, not as hijackers trying to grab the wheel. This quote just nails the whole thing. Reestablishing ownership of yourself means you're free to know what you know and feel what you feel without being totally overwhelmed by it all. It's about becoming a safe container for all of your own experiences, both past and present. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. What if every single one of those conflicting parts, the angry one, the sad one, the scared one, what if it isn't a flaw that you need to fix, but a guide with a really important story to tell? By welcoming every part with compassion, you can actually begin to put the pieces of yourself back together and lead a life of much greater wholeness.
If you found this explainer on self-leadership helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from hearing it. And of course, subscribe to the MediBytes channel for more insights into health and wellness. Thanks so much for joining us.